So next up, we're going to be checking out 8-Bit Hypocrite's Depersonalization. From Eldritch horror to anime girl. I did this one as a live poll for what my chat wanted to do, and they all really love the horror side of this. So we're going to stick to that and not think about anything else they may or may not have look at their search history to do with. Let's just ignore everything and just jump into this one because there's a lot of things I'm going to be biting my tongue on. I'm sure that won't happen.
Hello. Do you enjoy the Lovecraft mythos?
Cthulhu
Trick
Thinker
question. Of course you do. I bet you even know the name of his cat.
My God, he named his cat Neko Ark. Lovecraft was a really fucked up person. He got better, but also he had room.
Why else would you be watching video essays on obscure games?
Wait,
the
this is a
Lovecraft
game?
mythos
Oh, that
is
was a
widely regarded as one of the greatest horror concepts of all time, and is
Although a lot of that is because it was made open source intentionally by the author, so anyone could jump off of it. It's not fan fiction. It's part of the expanding mythology. So it's kind of like floppy disks and CDs. Anyone can use it. As opposed to some pump blocks where anyone can use it if they pay the guy.
has led to countless books, movies, and of course, games.
Call of
Mainly
Cthulhu, yeah.
the tabletop
fun, I played
RPG
it.
Call of Cthulhu, better known as COC, which, if you're
Yeah, that would be the abbreviation. Don't you just love rocking out with your Call of Cthulhu out?
unfamiliar, is basically just Dungeons and Dragons with less heroics and more going insane.
Wait. You play Dungeons and Dragons with heroics? And not going insane? I thought that was the baseline. Maybe it's more just my play group. Yeah, it's probably more my play group now that I think about it.
However, the game has the same problem that D&D does. You need to have friends in order to play. After all,
Just had to get me right there. You just had to point out that flaw. God damn you, 8-Bit Hypocrite.
it's a collaboration between players and game master to weave a narrative. So what if I told you I found a game
Wait, you actually
that
type into this
solves
one.
this problem? That not only allows the friendless heathens of the world to experience the tabletop game
Ah, the game Among Us, a digital tapestry woven from the threads of deception and trust. This is an AI-based game, isn't it?
in all its glory, but also makes all your favorite elder gods into cute anime girls. Interested?
What?
I bet so. Then I've got just one
Me, Brennan, let me tell you about this game, Depersonalization.
question for you. Are you fluent in Chinese?
What? Oh, this is a Chinese game? Oh! Is it Cthulhu or Yog-Sothoth? Oh. Let's check the power. Astolfo, Lucille Wilkins, Amy, Yummy, Saya, Sherry, Horn, and Walker. Are these character names or assigned names? Random skull necklace, okay. What the? This is... Oh, that's a lot of blood. That's a dead body. What? It's an 8-bit style, so it kind of makes sense. But what the? Oh, this is a ghost. And the tentacle ate her. Ah. Yeah, I'm getting the distinct impression this is very much someone had a fun time making this game. Oh, that has to be the king in yellow? No, there's no yellow involved. A key? Oh, is she... Also just realized the necklace was actually an eye coming out of her neck. Girl, Nalahotep? Yeah. That's what my thought was.
Depersonalization is a mystery RPG from a Chinese indie studio known as Meow Nature. Its
Oh.
goal is to create an experience similar to the tabletop version of Call of Cthulhu, except you don't need friends to play it with.
I hate how everything he just said kinda is a point in its favor. I'm not earning myself points on this one.
And it's a little easier to visualize what's going on considering it's a video game, so it has graphics. While
Yeah.
technically it's fully released, it's pretty early on in development and is
Oh.
being constantly updated.
So is it a gacha game?
This is fantastic, but also leads to some quirks that we'll talk about later.
Ah, so it's
The
not even
game is
translated
split
fully.
into different modules, with each one representing a self-contained story that you can play through. There are
Oh.
7 modules in the game at the time of this video, and while some are certainly better than others, they're all pretty fucking good. Each
In other words, they accidentally made exactly what D&D has been trying to become online. Yeah, that kind of works, actually. Good for
story
them.
can be experienced entirely on its own with no distinct order. However, even though each one
Ryan
can
and a
stand
spider monster?
alone,
Oh, that's one of
there
your party
are
members.
some plot threads that tie each one into the greater narrative, and certain characters can exist in multiple stories, even if those stories take place hundreds of years apart from one another.
What?
This is all explained through the main plot of depersonalization. You are the time police.
What?
This is Yog-Sothoth, an outer god also known as the Key and the Gate, the Beyond One, the All-in-One, the One-in-All, and by their closest friends, Cutie Patootie.
What?
And this is Yog-Sothoth in Depersonalization. Congrats on your transition, Queen.
Estrogen is one hell of a drug. Oh my god. Oh, so yeah, it's Yog-Sothoth, not Nyarlathotep.
Sothoth is the god of time, and it's her job to make sure that the timeline continues as normal. She really just wants humanity to be happy and doesn't want any of us dealing with horrifying eldritch monstrosities outside our comprehension.
And this is one of the changes from normal Cthulhu. Normal Cthulhu was outside of Nyarlathotep, who actively tried to fuck over people. Most of them were kind of ignoring humanity. And lower, weaker ones like Cthulhu might eat us. Weaker. Cthulhu's not one of the big powers. Yeah.
But there's an issue, and his name is a Forgamon. Disclaimer, I know a Forgamon is actually supposed to be female, just, based on their design and later dialogue that was translated better, but the game has a lot of incorrect pronouns due to early translation errors, and a Forgamon is mostly referred to as he throughout the early game.
I mean, when you're a freaking space squid monstrosity, you can be whatever the hell you want. You just don't eat me. Or make me wish you had. Both are options I want to avoid.
So, I'm going to simply choose to believe that he's a femboy. Plus, they're a god, so they can be whatever the hell they want to be.
They're also not human.
And you're not going to stop them. And I'm certainly not going to stop them. Maybe that's even canon. Maybe they did that on purpose. Man, I
can fully expect that.
A Forgamon is a shard of Sothoth that split off, and their purpose is to destroy chaotic timelines. They just want to watch everything in existence burn. So, Sothoth made a deal with them. If she doesn't mess with the timeline, then he can't either. A Forgamon accepts and now spends all their time playing League of Legends.
I thought they weren't allowed to make things worse. Oh, wait. Don't bother me.
Can fix him, I swear. You play as the Star Key, a being of Sothoth's will that can directly interact with the flow of timelines.
Oh, so we're a cheat code.
You're a nice little loophole for this outer god because you have your own free will. Since Sothoth isn't directly controlling you, it doesn't count as interfering, and a Forgamon is in his plat promo, so he doesn't care anyway. With Sothoth's hands being tied but still wanting to help, it's now your job to alter the timelines in her place so that the world doesn't inexplicably end in the early 1800s. One little problem, though.
Yeah, as opposed to normal, where it ends a little after that.
You are not an outer god.
What?
While Sothoth was powerful enough to alter timelines at a whim, you're just a regular dude who can time travel. In order to change...
I mean, everyone can do that. That happens all the time. I mean, I just wanted to get a store that was opening up yesterday from tomorrow, but I had to go forward a day to do it. It's like, that happens all the time, man. Very, very relatable problem.
You have to directly interfere, and that's where the modules come in. Each one is a case that Sothoth assigns you to, and your job is to merge with people already existing in that timeline in order to experience all possible outcomes
so you have a
of
different
their
options.
story, and do your best to lead them down the path with the happiest ending. It's like if someone decided to possess...
This is your ideal form. Non-stop energy. I feel that this has been edited before. This is just the more YouTube appropriate one you left in there.
Your body and moved out of your parents' basement, met a cute girl, and got a real job. Boom.
I mean, I've done a few of those things. But the real job, hey, I'm on YouTube.
Timeline corrected. The characters you play as in each module can be customized from the ground up, allowing you to make your own investigators by deciding their appearance, profession, skills, stats, traits, and items.
So you have a canon character who has the dialogue directed to them, and then you have the choose your own character as if you were playing the game itself, so you actually get to create your own character. Huh. Also, Pylo, to be fair, wait, I'm sorry. Yog-Sothoth has canonically had children with humans in the original stories, so that one does have some interest in Earth. Yeah, although I think if I'm remembering the one you're talking about, children was a misnomer, but also maybe not. It was never really clarified how much they were into, unless I'm thinking of something different. I thought Yog-Sothoth was more of the spores for everyone. Yeah.
As you play through modules and unlock interactions and endings, you'll slowly collect more options for you to experiment with. No tactic is perfect, but each module can be cleared in different ways depending on how you want to play. If you want to talk your way out of situations and calm people down, then you'll want your diplomacy and psychology through the roof. But if
wait. Talking is an option? Sorry, I'm not used to games actually having that as an option. And I don't just mean video games. I mean D&D style RPGs where it's like, yeah, you could talk, and then we get to fighting after you're done. I'm not used to talking being a viable option. It's usually, we also have a mechanic that involves talking that you should not focus on because it's not the main game. Huh.
If you meet an elder god, they usually don't like to talk and will more than likely beat you to a bloody pulp with the fifth-dimensional equivalent of a hammer.
That's more what I was expecting.
If you want to punch everything that moves to death, brawl and sport might be your best choices. Though you might wind up never finding an important item because your observation is so low.
So it's not so much that there is a actual option and then the fake bad don't choose it option. It's more, what are you willing to give up? Ooh, and that makes party dynamics way more important, too.
Or maybe you prefer to max out your occultism, allowing you to see the truth of things and cast crazy spells for powerful effects. Just make sure that your mind doesn't crack under the stress of what you choose to see.
Yeah.
Once you select a module to play, you'll need to choose one of your investigators to play as. Each investigator can only experience a story once, so make sure that you unlock every ending when you play through one. If you decide to play it with a different character, you'll need to restart from the very beginning. Each story will tell you on the cover what will be most helpful throughout it.
Also, you actually get the ideas. Custom, short, contemporary, combat, special rules. So it's rule-based with special rules and combat-based. So this is more you need to fight. So building a talking character is not going to help. Which also means there's so you don't actually run into the problem I've seen when I've done games like this, where you have a very specialized character for this definitely awesome, and we're doing an investigation without any combat whatsoever. Yeah, I've done that. I've also done the reverse, where I made a very heavy charisma non-caster who ended up being great at talking situations that didn't matter because you were going to be shot in the face.
So try to create and choose investigators to suit certain needs. For example, there might be a lot more fighting in one module, so going into it with an investigator modeled after the stats of my
I might need to play this game.
Probably isn't the best choice. You'll also start each module with a single companion, and as you complete modules, you'll be able to take some of the characters you meet in them along for the ride in the future. If you're able to get their help in the first place, that is. With that, you'll be thrust right into the story, usually beginning with a short explanation of how you're connected to the main plot, and from there it's up to you to work through it. Your main method of gathering clues and finding items is by interacting with everything possible in the environment and reading. Lots and lots of reading.
37 speed.
I do not like reading, but the mysteries hooked me in and
This guy doesn't like reading. I'm sorry. I found this guy through Limbus Company and other Project Moon franchises that we're not going to think about because they're absolutely terrifying, that are nothing but reading. How? I think he's probably lying to himself at this point.
The stories are written well enough that I loved every second of it. Just don't go into this game expecting Devil May Cry gameplay, okay? A few of the modules are almost entirely text-based, and those will have you making choices to investigate items by simply clicking a button to do so.
So it becomes
but for the 2D modules where you can run around, you've got to find them yourself. Luckily, you can hold down the C key in order to take stock of everything
neat, so you know where to go.
Which becomes incredibly helpful when the screen is just full of stuff.
A lot.
This shit looks like my bedroom, goddamn.
That is both terrifying because how messy it is, and also kind of awesome because I would love my bedroom to look like this. In the sense that it has some kind of organization. I've just thrown things together, and it's like where it landed is where it stays, man. Also covered in diamonds. That would be awesome. Ooh, and Crocmaniac. You mentioned with D&D talking can be a viable option if your DM allows it. Remember, the D&D game has no rule. Only rule suggestions. No rule is involatile. Unless you're doing actual modules, in which case some of them are explicitly designed badly. Homebrew is always good, but if you're playing in a less homebrew style game, sometimes people stick to the modules, and the modules don't always offer options.
But finding things isn't always easy. Even if you know it's there, most interactions with important people and items require a skill check of some sort. This is where those skills and traits come into play. Jumping over a chasm might require a sport check or convince.
1, like the art. 2, I'm wondering if there's an option where it's not just about succeeding, but sometimes you have to fail to get a certain outcome, or maybe succeed with something non-optimal in a certain way. If they're doing that much detail, maybe it is that way.
Convincing someone to give you an item could make you use diplomacy. Just like in the tabletop version of Call of Cthulhu, these checks are made with dice. You roll 2d10, and if your result is lower than your skill related to that check, you'll succeed. Harder checks may require you to get under half your skill instead, and you can choose to reroll most checks by spending your investigator's luck. You can do this any number of times, but be careful what you spend it on. Making a check early may be far less rewarding than an important check later in the module that you can't afford to mess up. Just remember that sometimes it isn't a bad thing to fail.
Really?
After all, not seeing the Eldritch monstrosity lurking in the darkness might save you some sanity.
So in other words, failure is actually a good thing here, which makes rerolls even more dangerous, possibly. Oh. And Martin, you mentioned it actually is COC rules. See, that's the thing. I've never actually played Call of Cthulhu. I've played a board game version of it, which doesn't have anything in common with the RPG, apparently.
There are a ton of branching paths and options that you can take in each story. Finding a certain item can open an otherwise blocked path, and asking someone the wrong question may keep you from finding important information. But no matter what you do, you'll need to make decisions. This is where your investigator traits come into play. Certain important story options may be locked depending on the personality of your investigator. For example, you might not be able to do something daring like save someone from a monster if you're cautious. Or maybe you'll willingly let someone walk into danger because of your absurdism. You can unlock these choices, but it'll cost your investigator's sanity to do so, which is a really fun way of showing what it takes to go against your better judgment.
So you're intentionally doing dumb decisions and hurting yourself, but because you want the option.
It's a solid price to pay, but doing so will allow you to reach every ending of a module no matter what your personality is, which is obviously way nicer than needing to play through each module from the very beginning with multiple different characters.
Considering how many games I've played where that is required, that is actually very much a nice game of life mechanic.
But you are sent here for a purpose. As the Star Key, the only reason you're even in this timeline is to fix something that went wrong. And when things go wrong concerning Elder Gods, well, there's probably going to be something large and scary trying to kill you. Luckily, we have a solution to that. Introducing the newest in god-killing technology.
A gun! That would do it.
Never fear the weight of a gaze of an ancient being on your back again. Simply load the magazine, turn off the safety, and fire indiscriminately. For even the most powerful beings will eventually die to an endless tide of 45mm. Welcome to combat. Combat is complicated, and I don't want to spend 8 hours on it, but at a glance, it's your typical RPG. Turn order is decided by speed, and each attack requires a roll for the corresponding skill. There are guns, knives, Molotov, spells, and all sorts of tricks and tactics at your disposal, but at the
I've noticed the physics on some of the models are very distinct. I might actually have to get this game unironically.
At the end of the day,
kinda
there's
looks
one
fun.
simple goal. Beat the monster to death before it beats
Is that a
you.
Dragon Doggo?
It might take some getting used to because the way certain interactions work can be really confusing, and the game doesn't like explaining much of the combat to you, but once
Oh wow, can you imagine playing a game where they don't like explaining combat? I mean, that would be so a Project Moon style. Yeah.
you get it, it's pretty easy. Or maybe I skipped too much of the tutorial and it's actually easy from the very start. This game isn't here to test your skill. You don't need fast reactions, and most puzzles consist of interacting with things until the thing does the thing. But
I mean, if there's one thing I'm good at, it's not having fast reactions. Wait, that's a bad thing. Oh.
Game any less fun. That's not what the game is trying to do. Its purpose is the same as most mystery media, to deliver a story that wraps you up and eventually reveals its hand in the aha moment where everything
So it's more
clicks.
mystery than game.
And oh boy, does it deliver those moments.
Are those eyes in there?
Like seriously,
Oh,
let
those
me
are eyes.
just They speak of changes. The only truth of evolution, the draught to cure every disease.
Oh, I love the music. Is this actually in-game music? If this is in-game music, I might have to play it just for that. It's like the same reason I'm tempted to play Undertale. I love the music from it.
So they sing the praise. Pathetic usurpers, all of them, seeking nothing but ephemeral power and wealth, bound by their moral myopia. Their decay-infested minds will never know true changes. Have you ever drunk from dead water, investigator? The putrid, stagnant puddles reject any possibility of life form, not unlike the usurpers and your foul employers. And you, too, are always one step behind changes. You've come this far by trailing after results, trudging in their wakes. A slave you are, like the rest of your kind. Greatness is achieved at the dearest cost. Ignorance is atoned for.
Which module
through
is
the
this?
sourest
This seems like the
remorse.
big switch up.
My friend,
Plot twist, maybe?
I entrust our next experiment to you, as you command. Absolute cinema mono.
Oh, Nilla. Probably Narla Hotep then, which is, yeah.
Goddamn, the writing goes hard in this game. But if text isn't your thing, don't worry. They've got some set pieces for combat too. Just wait until they hit you.
Set pieces for combat.
Text isn't your thing, don't worry. They've got some set pieces for.
I believe in sadistic, murderous nun supremacy. Seen too much anime not to have an opinion.
Combat too. Just wait until they hit you with the.
Yeah. That's probably fine.
Yeah, that shit goes hard. Not every module is made equal, but I enjoyed almost all of them.
So it's like
Here's
good
a
and
quick
bad,
rundown
but
on each
decent?
one just to see if any grab your interest, as well as my
Ah.
personal thoughts on them. All in one and one in all. This is the prologue and tutorial for the game, teaching you the basics for how the game works. It introduces you to the characters that will remain important throughout, and it's not bad, but it's more of something to get out of the way. Still interesting though, a 5 out of 10. Lies and Frauds, the story of a wealthy man trying everything he can to save his daughter from a horrible sickness, finally resorting to the
But-
help of a mysterious pastor.
That
The
probably doesn't work
prayers seem to be working. In fact, maybe they're working a little too well, which does nothing to explain why he has the bodies of over a dozen children in his basement. And also there's a hot murderous nun in this one, I like it a lot, 8 out of 10. Saladinit, an eccentric collector, calls you and a bodyguard to his home to help investigate the disappearance of his wife, who was
Oh.
last seen a week ago entering her bedroom. But if he's concerned about his wife, why did it take him so long to call you? Why is he throwing a party to show off his collection of ancient artifacts? And most importantly, why does it feel like you're being hunted? This one is pretty cool, but not my favorite. 6 out of 10.
Not
Welcome to Tonson Town. After falling asleep on a train in the middle
He's
of your
shaking.
travels, you experience a wild dream. You see a town that disappeared years ago, full of people working to escape. Deadly monsters roam the street, and those who stay out at night are never seen again. Within the center of it all, a young girl sits alone and paints. You may know that you're dreaming, but why does it all feel so real? And more importantly, why can't you wake up? This one is pretty solid and I like the gameplay, but the story lost me around the middle. It's 7 out of 10.
Really? Something they explicitly said he was lost on was that good. Yeah, I'm probably going to need to get this game.
Moonshade Monolith, a text-based module set in the near future where a distress call from the Gray Matter research site prompts your team to investigate what happened.
So you have the basic options, and then there was a change up here, so you see where you're actually looking at. Oh, that's kind of cool. I wish more games did this, where you saw the various aspects when you have the more text-based storylines.
From the Gray Matter research site prompts your team to investigate what happened. Why did the distress call stop so suddenly? Why hasn't anyone seen the
Why are the eyes still on the wall
since then? And why is your team the only one sent to investigate?
Sacrifices?
You only have 5 people. This one actually rules. I didn't expect to like the text-based gameplay this much, but it became one of my favorites. 8 out of 10.
Oh shit.
Bar Hope Park. Another text-based module, and my least favorite in the whole game. The story doesn't have much besides a creepy haunted park. There are no recognizable characters, and it takes way too long to complete. It's the only module that I don't really like. 3 out of 10. And finally,
it looks like it's more, even though it's text-based, there's mostly combat there.
Last module in this game as of the release of this video, and only very recently translated to English. Cursenday's Black Carnival. This is by far the largest and most complex story a module has told, and they knocked it out of the park. It's a murder mystery, and with 5 suspects and an unidentified victim, you may already be in over your head. But Cursenday is no normal town, and on top of the mystery, there are monsters roaming the streets, cultists in the alleyways, and madness gripping the citizens. If you run, you'll never learn the truth of the murder that brought you here.
In other words, this is probably one of those chapters where you're intentionally going to make bad decisions to see what happens when they shake out. Also, in Tabata and I mentioned, you tried to mention how to defeat a cult leader in COC earlier, but apparently you deleted the comment because violence towards fictional evil characters is not allowed. Oh, so you're allowed to do things like that. Wait, so you actually have options to fight cult leaders instead. Ooh.
But if you stay, well, at least you'll get to experience the town's most famous tradition.
Murder?
The Black Carnival. An unironic 10 out of 10, this module is the best in the game.
Damn!
And I cannot wait to see where they go from here. It is so good. Not to mention, outside of those 7, there's in-game support for creating your own custom modules.
What?
So if you like the sound of creating your own
my god, you make your own
campaign,
stories?
You can share it with the world. I haven't tried any workshop modules yet because, well, I don't speak Chinese.
That would make it harder, yeah.
CCP, I promise to do better in the future. But if anyone out there decides to make one for all us English speakers, I'd love to see more. You can clearly tell from Cursenday that the team is getting better at everything they do, including the assets. This game looks and sounds great, and it'll keep getting better. The pixel art is absolutely beautiful, with...
I'll be honest, the pixel art is so massively nostalgic for me, it's half the reason I'm kind of tempted.
Every character portrait stylized and displaying an attitude and emotion. The investigator portraits make me feel a certain kind of way, you know? And all of the Elder Gods have such great designs.
Which other ones do we
Whether
deal
it's a
with?
Forgamon's skirt and serpents, or Nyar's snazzy suit and cane, they're all fantastic.
Damn!
With parts of their outfit and accessories referencing stories that they're from. And, you know, there's always this guy.
Yeah!
All the art feels clean, and even in environments where there are objects everywhere, it never feels overwhelming or packed.
You know, now that he's pointed that out, that actually makes sense, because I've seen a lot of games, not just this style, but even more 3D games, where if they have so many things on the screen, everyone is given perfect detail. So there's never the, okay, here's what we're looking at, it makes sense, now we're going to look at something else. It's more, blah! Hit you in the face with all of the lights and the sounds, so you have no idea what anything is. It all blends in together into a slurry of, admittedly, pixelized schizophrenia.
Most maps consist of dark colors as well, leading to some absolutely fantastic palettes. It's a true feast for the eyes. And the music tracks absolutely rule. There isn't a ton of variety in most of the modules because a lot of them came out around the same time, but that doesn't make the tracks bad.
Oh, that's probably not good.
Intense parts, which will low an intense track while exploring, stays light and almost inquisitive. And the battle
that's
music
actually really pretty.
rules, an electronic mix of pure excitement, thumping along as uncanny notes hold over the top.
Yeah, that makes
As I
sense.
said, most of the tracks are repurposed throughout the game, which can start to get old after a while, even if they're pretty good. But in Cursenday's Black Carnival, we got a ton of new tracks.
Oh, so they
which
are
all
updating with new
easily up to the
music
standard
as
of the
well.
others. If Meow Nature keeps putting out huge modules like this one, my hope is that the awesome music library of this game will slowly expand. Kind of like a pyrocynical commission. Overall, Depersonalization is an absolutely fantastic game, a near perfect recreation of the cock tabletop RPG that changes just enough to make itself unique and enjoyable as a video game. It looks and
Do you
sounds
just type
great,
questions
the
directly
stories
into
pull
it?
you in and keep you guessing, the combat is as deep as you want it to be, the character creation is expansive, and most importantly, the Elder Gods are anime girls. You can pick it up on Steam for $20, which is more than
That's
worth it. And if you're somehow still not sold after
Oh,
listening
shit, for that
to me
price, it's probably worth
slobber
it.
all over this game the whole video, you can download the demo and see.
I believe the demo is removed while editing this video, so this may no longer be possible. I might actually have to pick this game up. Damn it, it's going on the wish list.
This is one of those games that I'm gonna keep playing for a while, waiting for
And the
the next
dead body
update
disappeared.
to come out and then experiencing that module. I'm super excited to see where it goes from here, and I hope that the rest of you get to experience that alongside me. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you soon.
Also in the background, my wife just went, I told you who took that body, it's that damn Sasquatch. Oh my god. This is brilliant. I had never even heard of depersonalization before, so I'm really glad 8-Bit Hypocrite covered it because I need to add this to my Steam wish list. That is getting very long at this point. I'm going to play this. There's no doubt about that. I'm not sure if I'll do a stream or if I'll just play it on my own time because this has the look of something that I could go either way on. It really comes down to how well does it play on mobile? With SteamOS coming out, the answer to that is I don't know, but I want to find out. Either way, though, if you guys haven't already, there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. 8-Bit Hypocrite did an amazing job, and I just love their coverage of different games I've never heard about. And this is going to make it the second game they've made me buy and then put money into. Oh, my God. Oh, so freaking tempting, man. So, yeah, hit them up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.